extraordinary. I think David Starkey, very uplifting service in many, many ways. But this coach, we talked about it earlier, it's going to go at a very slow pace.
It goes at walking pace. Anything other than the walking pace is intolerable, apparently. We have several kings to vouch for the fact.
But it is rather beautiful.
It is staggeringly beautiful. But like many beautiful old things, it is not terribly practical, which is why it's only being used. You see how slowly it's going.
Now, Cameron, we're at the beginning of this procession back to Buckingham Palace, and this is going to be of a vastly different size to what we saw going up to the Abbey earlier.
Absolutely. So this coronation procession is much, much larger in scale. Nearly 4,000 personnel, military personnel, are going to be taking part. It's the largest of this kind, actually, since the last Queen's coronation back in 1953. And as you said, David, it's sprung on leather, and it is very slow moving, and it's going to take a lot longer getting back to Buckingham Palace compared to the King's procession, which left Buckingham Palace earlier this morning.
Prince and Princess of Wales.
Yes. And
yes.
The weather, mercifully the weather. It was raining quite hard half an hour ago, but it's a lot better now.
Yes, it certainly is. And you could just see the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, the Earl of Wessex and Lady Louise in that carriage there. A huge procession, of course, and the crowds have been waiting very patiently in the rain to view this. So it's going to be quite a spectacle for them.
Really
and the
is.
King heading the procession this time, and the Queen.
The coronation procession represents the diversity and traditions of the UK and Commonwealth armed forces. It's a full spectrum display of unique history, historic uniforms, and of course we've got military personnel from UK armed forces as well as the Commonwealth as well. And a guard of honour of 100 standard bearers to line the procession route in Parliament Square as well. So lots of people taking part. Of course, we saw the rehearsals for this earlier on this week, overnight rehearsals, so I'm sure everyone taking part, their body clocks must be a bit all over the place, but nonetheless, this is the moments they have been waiting for. Despite the weather conditions, it looks like it's all going to plan so far.
No, well, it's certainly cheered up now. And again, David, this is very traditional. What we're seeing now is very traditional.
What would astonish me, we were told it was going to be modern. What you actually saw in the crossing and the choir was timeless. Suddenly, there was the differently dressed congregation, but only as it was emerging from the nave, that actual moment of the whole service within the crossing was timeless. And as I said,
Yes.
I was just...
Some shots of Prince Harry there, which I know the press are all very, very keen to get.
So just seeing the Duke of Sussex there talking to Eduardo Pelimozzi and Jack Brooksbank, who are Princess Eugenie and Beatrice's two husbands. Prince Harry, we know, is very close to his cousins, the York daughters. He is not part of the coronation procession. He is not a working member of the royal family, which is why we're seeing him not getting into a carriage or indeed a state car, as we just saw working members of the royal family do so.
And rumoured, Cameron, rumoured to be heading off to Heathrow fairly shortly.
Yes, we have heard it's a very fleeting visit, in and out. He arrived yesterday, as we understand it, on an American Airlines flight, landing at 11:23 yesterday morning, and we are expecting him to get on a plane very shortly this afternoon. Of course, it's his son, Prince Archie's birthday today, his 4th birthday, and that is why perhaps Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, decided to stay behind in California. He will not be appearing on the balcony, as we understand as well later on today. He is not a working member of the royal family.
But isn't it extraordinary, the television camera still making the star?
Well,
this is what is really striking. We should be looking at the King and the Queen.
Yes.
We glimpse the prodigal son.
it was a brief intervention, David, I promise.
Still the prodigal son.
We will
Still
not
the prodigal son.
overemphasise
No,
the importance of
I'm just
But I
saying,
get the point.
isn't it another prodigal son?
Yes.
The prodigal
Duke of York.
The prodigal uncle.
Yes, the Duke of York. It's been a bit of a problem for them as well.
Well, Duke of York wearing his Garter robes.
That's
He
correct.
is a Knight of the Garter, of course, whereas Prince Harry isn't. Some people have been making the point that why is Prince Harry not wearing robes and just wearing his military medals, and why is Prince Andrew allowed to wear robes? And that is because Prince Andrew is a Knight of the Garter. That's right, David, isn't it? So,
That is
and Prince
absolutely
Harry
right.
is
And
not.
Each member of the royal family who is a member of an order, so I think Was it that the Duke of...
I believe about to start travelling up Whitehall.
No, it's the Ministry of Defence
So
in the
is it?
background.
Oh, yeah.
So it's already quite... It's roughly opposite Horse Guards.
Yeah. Duke of Sussex getting into a blacked out car there. Golden State Coach, interestingly, pulled by 8 horses, 8 Windsor Greys this time, rather than 6, which is what we had.
It's heavier.
With the
It's
Platinum
heavier.
Jubilee Stagecoach.
Heavier.
So it's all the horses that we had before, which was Icon, Shadow, Milford Haven, Knightsbridge, and Tyrone and Echo, but they are joined by 2 new Windsor Greys, Newark and Meg. So there you go, a bit of horse trivia for you. Of course, they've all been heavily trained to make sure that they can cope with the noise of the crowds and of course the military bands who are accompanying them. Travelling at walking pace, we are very shortly going to be joined by Alistair Stewart, who is of course much more of a horse expert than I am, but why he is getting ready. David, let me ask you this. This gold it's certainly in the Royal News by Buckingham Palace. The last time I remember seeing it was at the late Queen's Platinum Jubilee celebrations during that Platinum pageants that we saw. But of course, we have 4,000 military personnel.
Yeah, the guards now, the foot guards, the other great bodyguard, not the mounted bodyguard.
Yep. Mounted bands of the Household Cavalry as well. We're expecting the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery as well.
They're behind you.
Regiment of Scotland. Oh, here they all are. Yes, there we go. That is the regiment that carried out the gun salutes at the moment of crowning.
That's correct.
So that happened at Horse Guards Parade, didn't it, David?
That's right. Horse Guards Parade, again, keep on with old Henry VIII. Horse Guards Parade is where Henry VIII's tilt yard was.
Yes.
So once again, this sense of layer upon layer of history.
Absolutely. Well, we just saw a glimpse there of the Princess and Prince of Wales, along with Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis. They, of course, were at their grandfather's coronation, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis, although, as we understand it, Prince Louis was taken out for part of that service. Of course, he is only 5 years old, so perhaps it would have been...
Hanoverians had it translated back into Latin because they thought that Latin was a language that the German-speaking Hanoverians would get. More in common, but I thought it was great. There's also just pick out one particular moment, and I know there's been a debate about the act of homage and pledging our liegeness and loyalty and the rest of it. I thought that the cameras captured quite brilliantly the genuine affection between the king and his heir. Beautifully done. The crown touched, as is the tradition, but the peck on the cheek.
Yes.
When he was Prince of Wales, he tended more to kiss the late Queen's hand, but this was a son kissing his now king father.
To see, even after the gold state coach has passed, and you see, of course, the other coaches that are here carrying other members of the royal family. In the first carriage, the Prince and Princess of Wales with Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis. We know that following the Gold State coach as it now heads down the Mall.
Heading down the Mall towards where we are at Buckingham Palace, I'm joined by David Starkey and Alistair Stewart. I have been told that the Princess of Wales is wearing a pearl and diamond earrings which belongs to the late Diana, Princess of Wales, so perhaps a nod to Prince William's mother there. Alistair, we were talking earlier about the regalia, which members of the public have seen for the first time in use, but of course the Imperial State Crown was, I mean, these pictures are just incredible, aren't they, of the thousands of troops.
It's a version of the view that the royal party will have very shortly from the balcony behind us, which is decked out already, ready for it, looking straight up to Admiralty Arch,
and
with the Marines and the bands.
Filled with troops. This is what is so spectacular. The framing of the flags, the arch, absolutely solid mass of slowly marching troops.
Absolutely. And you can just make out the Golden State coach containing the King and Queen consorts. The King, of course, wearing the Imperial State Crown, which was on top of the late Queen Elizabeth II's coffin, wasn't it? As people filed past to pay their respects to her lying in
I was
state.
very taken by that when I saw the presentation of the regalia, because on top of the late Queen's coffin, was St Edmund's crowned, the sceptre, or one of the two sceptres, and the orb. They were there sitting on top, and quite rightly commentators were saying the only time it's used is at a coronation. Well, not being pedantic, but it is also resplendent upon the coffin of a dead monarch.
And indeed, the removal of those symbols from the coffin is the moment at which the monarch dies and a mere human being is buried. And of course, what the thoughts of King Charles must be, he saw that he knew the next time he would see it,
Yes.
would be upon his own head.
Yes.
That literal transfer of sovereignty. But again, the staggering view that we're seeing, the formations, and you can see how perfectly calculated the avenue is, exactly for this purpose. Lord Esher, who laid this
We were
out.
here yesterday, and literally just behind us there was a party of soldiers led by a sergeant major.
Ceremony speaking for itself. That in one sense, we were, dare I say, we were redundant. It talks, it is a language. It's a language, I think, that we understand and are attached to. And again, I do not think it requires a justification.
No.
There's that wonderful phrase of Edmund Burke talking about the brutal realities of power. Power fundamentally is thuggish. Finally, the power of the state depends on force. This is something different.
Yes.
He talked about a gentle drapery, a thing that makes the powerful beautiful.
Yes.
And I think we saw that in an extraordinary way. I wonder a little, if I may introduce a note of doubt, whether the actual service itself went too far in the direction of tenderness and feminization.
Now, can I just make out the Golden State coach coming very close to the Victoria Memorial, still travelling up the Mall, of course, at a very slow walking pace, as we've discussed. The Golden State coach is incredibly heavy, but this does look like, to me, it is the Golden State coach. So the King and Queen Consort not far here from Buckingham Palace. And let me just describe the atmosphere at the moment of crowning here at Buckingham Palace. We heard the bells peal, we heard the crowd cheer, and we heard those incredibly loud gun salutes from
Right
All
next
Stars
door,
Parade.
right next door.
Yeah, chilling.
What is extraordinary is every single sense is involved. We don't quite smell, but of course, if we'd been by the guns, we would have smelled. In the Abbey, you would, incense and whatever. And it is the colour, it is the music, it is the uniform, it is, of course, the rhythm. These astonishing rhythms, and particularly the great drums and the heavy brass instruments.
And little things like the students from Westminster School buy that Rex, not buy that Regina, which they used to do in the past. That was there.
So the Sovereign's escort of the Household Cavalry is just passing our position here at
The Blues,
Buckingham Palace.
the Blues.
Indeed. And then very soon we are going to see, and more importantly, the people on the ranked seating at Buckingham Palace who have been invited, specifically NHS workers, army veterans, will see the King and Queen newly crowned in the Golden State coach.
Best in the entire world. It makes you proud to be British. And Stephen from Melton Mowbray, he sent a message in saying, watching GB News in beautiful sunshine, wow, with my 8 foot by 5 foot window flag. So, well, keep sending in.